he sent him to run, but before he sent him to run, he didn't realize that he was speaking directly to Matthias, telling him to get out of the drill. Well, his words were, "Get the out of my drill."
Now, first of all, let me say this. If I bring my son to a Marshawn Lynch camp and he cuts at my son like he did them other kids, oh well, obviously I'm bringing him here because he can teach my son some stuff that I cannot. So I might have to deal with a few side effects. Marshawn can curse at my son and yell at him because at the end of the day, I brought my son here so that one day he could show up at the press conference, lean into the mic and say, "I'm only here so I don't get fined." Bam, you think curse words hurt? You think curse words hurt? My coach used to say real nice stuff to me all the time with horrible breath. Fuck getting shot. You ever had a nigga with bad breath tell you a secret? Oh my God. Take me to the game.
So I had a question obviously about the video. I mean, for him to say, "Where is the man? Is there a man with you?" What
Yes.
interpretation of his question when he asked you that?
He's asking me to be sexist. Like, basically, only a man will make sense of that. Only a man would understand him telling a kid to get the fuck out of a drill.
Marshawn asked if it was a man with him because as a man, that's the first thing you're supposed to do. As a man, I don't want my woman in a heated conversation with a man. So it's only right that I give another man's woman the same respect. So the first thing I'm supposed to ask is there a man with you? Is your husband around? What's the problem?
Is there a man here with you?
No. He's not. No, my son's in jail. It's not okay.
Is there a man here with you?
Not here.
Is not a man here with you?
But I'm here.
What does that matter?
Because
My son is leaving. I don't care. It's my son.
Maybe he wanted to talk to a man because he wanted to talk to someone who could relate to on-the-field football experience. Maybe he wasn't asking for a man because he felt like women were inadequate or inferior. Maybe he just thought his word choice isn't suitable for most women. Maybe he was trying to be respectful. But to jump to this sexist stuff, come on now. They acting like he ran up the steps and said, "Hey, is it anybody smart with you? What about you? Is there anybody with you capable of processing thought?"
If it takes that amount of time for when I tell a kid to do something and they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then there is consequences, like push-ups, like running laps,
Like telling them
like
to get
sit-ups,
the fuck away from your
like
drill.
telling them to get out of my drill if they're not participating,
Get the out of your
doing right,
drill.
get out of my drill, get the out of my drill, or whatever it takes to get my drill. Because there's one kid, but there's also
50 others.
100 more kids out there.
If telling my son to get the out is what's necessary to bring out the best in him, then do it. By all means, do it. Matter of fact, record that so I can play it for him at home. Damn it, we trying to run up a check. And everybody know Marshawn Lynch. Did you think you was bringing your son to beauty mode or beast mode? If y'all want to raise these kids so soft that they crumble in the real world whenever somebody says something mean to them, then go ahead, be my guest. At the end of the day, as long as the coach don't put his hands on my son, and I know that everything that he's saying to my son is in an effort to bring out the best in my son, then by all means, cuss away, coach. How can I help you get these curse words out efficiently? How can I help you cuss louder? Do you need a bullhorn, my brother? Let me know what I need to bring. That's what's wrong with us today. We worried about bad words when bad deeds are winning the race. I'd much rather my son to be out there listening to cuss words than be in the streets dodging bullets. If Marshawn cuss at my son and tell him to get the out or make him do some push-ups or make him run some laps, I'm good with that. We got kids out here killing kids because ain't nobody ever held them accountable. Rather than condemn Marshawn, we should be praising him. He taking time for kids who obviously didn't even have their fathers in attendance. But we trying to make him look like the bad guy. I've never heard of a child's life being ruined by curse words.
You said nigga. You say nigga every day.
Oh, so you saying nigga around your son, but you ain't never dropped the F-bomb? Sounds a bit fraudulent. If I take my son to Tom Brady's camp, I can assume it's gonna be some cheating. And if I take my son to Marshawn Lynch's camp, I can assume it's gonna be a few curse words. And if I take my son to Mike Vick's house, I can assume it's gonna be a dog fight or two. You just gotta know your host.
And so I took the shirt and I marched my hind end down on the field, and the lady that checked me in had mentioned that she was either a friend or a cousin or something. And so I went up to her and I tapped her on the side and told her, "Hey, this is what he did. He just cussed at my kid, telling him to get the fuck out of the drill." And I told him, "You can have this shirt," in so many colorful, eccentric words, and threw it on the field in his direction.
Wait, so you went down there and cursed in front of the kids, but wasn't that the reason why you was going down there I'm confused.